Welcome to the Vanessa Eriksson podcast. I'm Vanessa, your host, and I'm here to bring you meaningful conversations on data, AI, innovation, and leadership. Today, I'm joined by Anagha Keshava Prasad, a second-year master's student in Experimental and Medical Biosciences at Linköping University. Originally from Bangalore, India, Anagha has been living in Sweden for the past 8 years and has spent the last 4 deeply immersed in biomedical sciences. With a growing interest in how AI is shaping research and healthcare, she brings a sharp student perspective to the conversation. This autumn, she'll be starting an exciting new project at Karolinska Institute, one of the leading medical universities in the world. I'm thrilled to have her on the show today to talk about science, innovation, education, and what the future might look like when curiosity meets technology. Without further ado, let's welcome her. Here comes Anagha. Welcome to all of you, and welcome to you, Anagha.
Thank you.
So lovely to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Oh, it's a joy to really have you with me discussing where you want to go and how AI is going to help us. And all the questions you have about AI, we got to get them answered too.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. With that said, I don't know, do we really have the answers to everything? Perhaps not. But let's start with you introducing yourself to our audiences.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anagha. I am 22 years old, and I'm currently studying my master's at Linköping University, and I'm studying Experimental and Medical Biosciences. I moved here about 8 years ago from Bangalore, India, with my family, and I am currently about to embark on a new journey at Karolinska Institute for my second year of my master's, and I'm about to do a very cool project there with a very nice lab group.
It's lovely. So, from Bangalore to Sweden, that's a long way.
Yes.
What inspired you to move to Sweden?
I mean, it was not really like a personal choice. It was more of like a family-driven choice that we made. My parents had very wonderful career opportunities here in Sweden, and it was also like a perfect juncture in my life because I was transitioning from like finishing middle school and going to high school. So we thought it was going to be perfect to get some sort of international exposure in my education as well. And of course, initially it was a very big culture shock because Bangalore is a very loud and vibrant city. And then I moved to Stockholm, which was more structured, it was quieter. And I think I really needed that because the environment kind of gave me time to reflect and think about what I wanted to do. So yeah.
So what you're saying is the move also inspired your journey to biomedical?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's exactly what happened. I mean, I always wanted to do medicine, and I'd always been interested in biology as a subject, especially human biology. And I think I didn't really think that there was a subject like biomedicine where you only take that trajectory into learning about underlying mechanisms and things like that. I thought medicine was my only option, but it opened up a new like avenue for me here, so which was really cool.
I'm gonna just take a moment to reflect on, so where did we meet?
Right. We actually got connected via my dad, who met you at a conference, I believe. Or
It was the Girls at Tech Nordics.
Right, exactly. And then you guys had a conversation.
That's true, that's right.
And that's how we were all put together in a little group chat,
Yes.
and that's where conversations began.
Yes, and it's wonderful. I remember now, because I just absolutely love when we have allies in men that support women. So kudos to your dad. Yes, and here we are. So 4 years in biomedical sciences. Walk us through, what inspired you to go in that direction.
Right. So as I already mentioned, like biology being one of my favorite subjects throughout my life, when I came to Sweden and I was picking my subjects in high school, I had the option to pick. I did the International Baccalaureate, and when you pick certain subjects, you can kind of pick it curated to what you want to do in the future. And the subjects that I picked kind of like grew my interest in medicine or biomedicine as a subject itself. And I had a lot of cool opportunities like internships or like visits to the hospital or labs, a lot of hands-on lab work that really inspired me to take this route.
Nice.
And then, of course, I started my bachelor's at Linköping University as well. And it was very nice because within the 3 years you get this overview, like a very broad yet detailed overview of basically everything there is to know about biomedicine as a subject. And then when you start the master's, you kind of get to pick what you're really interested in, because in the bachelor's, again, we have so much hands-on work, so much lab experience. We get visits to the hospital, we get patient samples, and you get to play around and figure out what you really want to do. So that's what has got me to this point. And I think by the master's, everyone kind of knows which area they want to really go into. And for me, it's specifically been neurobiology. I mean, there's so much about the brain that one does not know, and it's really cool to explore. And also recently, data and tech, AI in the field itself, and how you can process so much information using AI in my field is something that I've been very interested in.
That's wonderful. So much about the brain we yet need to figure out.
So much.
Yeah. So you've been a student in Sweden for soon a decade.
Yep.
Yeah. And you've done your high school and now your graduate studies. How has AI changed? The attitude, has it changed a lot, during that time? Or what do you see?
Yeah, I mean, like, I still remember in high school, the talk about AI was something that was more like sci-fi, dystopian almost. It was only like the computer science students talking more about AI and things. But it is essentially everywhere now, and we didn't really expect it, I think. And AI, or like we're talking generative AI especially, came about when I was halfway through my bachelor's. And I think there was this like fear, like a wave of fear of like, oh, AI is gonna kind of ruin education because people are gonna rely too much on it, or people are not gonna be able to like generate original work because we are gonna rely too much on AI and things like that. But now I think over the past 2-ish years, there has been a shift of mindset of how we're going to use AI to make our lives easier in the field, which is super nice. And it is a slow transition, but it is happening, which is very nice to see.
But then we hear a lot of, stories about students cutting corners using AI. Do you really think it's an issue with students using AI, or is it more from a teacher's perspective, allowing the students a little more responsibility while using it?
Right. I think it's a bit of both. I think as students, considering the workload that we have and things like that, when we find tools to make our lives easier, it is easy for us to adapt and learn these new tools.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, if teachers are not given enough information from university authorities or school authorities, it is difficult for them to handle.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, like, it is our responsibility as well, because there's a very fine line between I'm going to use this as an aid to I'm going to use it to do my work, and it becomes difficult for teachers to garner which one it is. So I don't really blame either sides, but I think like trust and communication is going to help improve this gap in understanding if it's a problem or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, we talked about this, right?
Yes.
Because from a student's perspective, I can understand that you want to have more freedom. You want to be given more responsibility. And how could we help the teachers in getting that? Do you have any thoughts on that? Or, because we also know of students who take advantage of that, who take, unwanted liberties in using it in the wrong way.
Yep.
How could we, because then what I hear you say is we need to have an education for the students, not to misuse it,
Yep.
but also for the teachers to allow the students that trust.
Yes. I think giving teachers some sort of not just technical training but more ethical or pedagogical training would really help in this case. And also I think collaboration between students and teachers, where there's this open and safe space where we are trying to share our concerns as to why we're using AI in the first place, and them expressing why, like maybe not using critical thinking and using AI instead is problematic, and reaching some sort of, each environment is very different from each other, so having one set of rules for all education will not necessarily work.
No.
So having that open environment between students and teachers would be more efficient, in my opinion.
Yeah. Have you had any experience where teachers have, or professors have truly embraced AI, and, what stood out with them?
Yes. I appreciate that question, because we had this one professor, and that's where I drew my conclusion from, because they were very open to the use of AI, and we were encouraged to use AI, at least in the first half of the course. But we were told to give a short description of where did you use the AI and why did you use it.
Nice.
And later on in the course, because we do a lot of literature studies where we have to read hundreds of papers and we're supposed to summarize and come up with conclusions, we were told to use AI to read those 100 papers because it's so cumbersome. We are being tested on our ability to summarize scientific findings and not our ability to read and spend hours on these 100 papers. So I think that was really great. And also there was an after the submissions, we had discussions where we were like, okay, what did AI find? Was there something that AI was lacking? What would you add to the thing that it was missing? Or what would you take away? What did you agree with it? Did you not agree with it? So there were aspects of critical thinking even if you were using AI. So not only was it efficient use, it was also using your critical thinking, which is very important in education.
That sounds like such a brilliant idea, and a way forward, collaboration and working together, being open, working with your students. It's also giving them the chance to say, like you said, where have I used it? Why did I use it? And explaining that would be, that is really, so let's hope all the teachers listening to this, please ask for collaboration, right?
Absolutely.
From your experience then, do you have any thoughts on what schools could do to better, educate the teachers in a more systematic and, without just going and signing up for courses and things? I think that we need to have kind of a more controlled way or a more organized way of educating the teachers and getting everybody on the same page.
Yes, I think, for instance, and I think this applies for not just teachers but students as well, like having some sort of AI 101, how does AI work, what is AI, and things like that, and the tool itself, because I don't think a lot of people realize how AI generates information. So, I mean, I'm mostly talking about generative AI here because that's what is vastly used.
Yeah.
And I think also teaching them about the downsides of AI, because AI is as good as the data that is being trained on, essentially.
True.
Right? So a lot of the, well, obsolete would be a very extreme word to use because it's like ever so like improving all the time. But if you're trying to create something new or like trying to understand something new, it might not be giving you the right information. It might be incomplete. It might be biased to the data that is being trained on. So I think teaching them like creates this almost like caution of like, you can use AI, but be a bit careful because it might not be a holy grail almost. And also I think hands-on like assignments or projects would be very nice for both teachers and students, doing some sort of project using AI. And things like that, where, I mean, of course, a dry lecture is usually something that in the day and age of social media is not very appealing to students and maybe even teachers for that matter, I'm not really sure. So doing projects like that and also teaching them about, as I mentioned, the biases, the fact that it's surveillancing all the information that we're putting out there. The deepfakes are a thing, so being careful with your information and things like that will also be beneficial. So it creates some sort of awareness, so you are a bit more cautious about your AI use, but you're still using it in a good way and an ethical way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear that the government in Sweden is taking steps to make sure that, you know, government agencies are starting to work and being given funding now for AI projects. So I think we're kicking that off. I also just want to say that Girls at Tech Nordics, where I am the founder and chairman of the board, we have started a program called FEMH Hub, where people who are, you know, are very well are knowledgeable with AI can create profiles on this on our platform, and the teachers have access to this platform. So if the teachers have questions about AI, they can go to the platform and you know, reach out to any of the profiles there that want to help educate and share knowledge with the teachers. So I'm very happy we're doing that, because there are a lot of teachers that want to learn, want to know more, and where you have businesses that can also jump on and help share knowledge. So that is something that we're doing, and reach out to me. I'm happy to share more information about that. So, you know, I love all the ideas that you have, Anagha, because I think that you have thought through this, which is brilliant. So I really hope that we can add value to both teachers and students. But if you're thinking about students especially, what skills do you think students need to have to be able to engage with AI more, you know, in the right way? You talked about, you know, the data that goes in, because that is also a bit of education, right? I mean, it's not obvious to everybody what data are you using, because it could have biases. But is there other skills that you think students need to have?
Yeah. I mean, as I mentioned before, I think critical thinking is very important, and I only like kind of figured that out after the exercise that my professor did with us. I think that is what we end up lacking when we rely too much on AI, that we lose our ability to critically think or critically analyze a lot of the things that we have to study or we have to work on, especially in biomedicine, because a lot of it has to do with trying to discover new things, trying to come up with new solutions. And if we lack the ability to do so, considering that AI can be biased, you're not really generating anything new. True. So I think critical thinking is very important. And as I mentioned again, data literacy, I think students should be taught that also how, as simple as how ChatGPT works, there's a certain pattern that it follows where it makes sense as to what word comes after another, and it creates a pattern and it builds on the context that you've given it. And I think teaching that to students puts a lot of things into like perspective, because when I talk to students who are younger than me and things like that, they are under the assumption that this is like a know-it-all like forum where you go and you ask it a question and it will basically give you
the answer.
Yeah, the correct answer,
Yeah.
which is, it can be the case, it can be correct, of course, especially if it's more general, like I don't know how to make pasta or something like that. But if you're using it in your education, it is not that straightforward. So I think that, and I would like to emphasize again the downsides of putting your personal information on the internet. Deepfakes are a thing, generative, like you can generate images and things like that, that could be both a pro and a con. So I think educating on these three, and also like I think communication and like trust, building trust with our professors and our teachers is very important. I think putting across where you've actually used the AI, because now, at least in my master's, a lot of my professors have been very open to us using AI. It's almost encouraged, but they want us to tell them where we used it. And I think being honest and transparent not only helps you realize how much AI you're using or not and how much you're relying on it, but also like improve on that. So you can use it to aid your assignments, for example, like creating a draft or making an outline that you don't necessarily need critical thinking for. It's just cumbersome. But you're actually using your brain to come up with a hypothesis or a conclusion and things like that.
I like that. So if you were designing an AI curriculum, what would be the key components?
Okay. Yes, again, going back to the different points that I made previously, I think an AI 101 will be very, very crucial, especially for high schoolers. And also like just going through how generative AI works, maybe give them like hands-on assignments. It's like, okay, generate this, or did you see any discrepancies between what it really is and what it generated? Again, education on the downsides of AI, and just fun projects, side projects that you can do using AI. Like, okay, create a model that will help you, I don't know, like find out your classmates' heights and things like that. I was on GitHub and I was seeing these different mini projects that people come up with for fun, that you just use OpenAI or ChatGPT and all of these different forums to do very fun projects that like students will really enjoy, as opposed to just sitting in a lecture and being, okay, that is AI, okay, this is how it generates and code and all that. We don't necessarily need to teach students how it works from a technical perspective, with more like a pedagogical and a more ethical perspective, so they know better and there's more awareness on it. Yeah.
Thank you. That is, it's lovely to see, because I hear that you have really thought this through, which is wonderful. You know, we need more students like you, because I think you can help teachers, you can help them also. I mean, the universities, we need more thinkers like you to know what works and what doesn't. So zooming out a bit, what role do you think curiosity and adaptability play in the job market when, you know, it's time for you to step out?
Everything, essentially. With data and tech and everything constantly changing, I think we have to be able to change with it as well. And it's as simple as something that I learned in the first year of my undergrad is already almost outdated because we don't use a certain machine anymore, or like certain things are not like done by humans anymore. We use robots to do it because it streamlines the process and things like that. So I think adaptability is very important because, again, like you start off with one career path, but you would have to perhaps switch it up and take a different path because your job is either something that is not done by humans anymore, or something that is a skill set that is not required anymore. So I think not only does it help grow your skill sets, but it also keeps you employable for the long term. So I think it's very important, and it is definitely something that people have to take into like consideration. And I think especially in my field, where something new is literally popping up every minute, and a minute is an understatement, I feel like. I think honing different skills, learning new, how to use new tools, is very important to stay relevant.
Yeah, and I can only reflect a little on that, because I think, you are the generation that is going to go out now and look for jobs. We have yet another generation that is reaching, 60s, where the market today looks like, as soon as you're getting closer to 60, you're not so attractive anymore in the job market. Where I'm thinking that the same curiosity and adaptability, I think we all need to have that, to be able to continuously, be in the track where, so what's next? How could we educate ourselves? What is happening out there? And I think that is really important for all of us. So keeping a curious mind, I think that is really, really what it takes.
I agree.
So as a biomedical science student, what do you see is the breakthrough with AI in the next 5 years?
It is a bit of a difficult question because it can technically be used to make a lot of the different subfields within biomedicine like more efficient. But if I had to pick, then definitely diagnostics and drug discovery. Diagnostics for sure, because doctors, physicians, and even biomedical analysts and biomedical scientists, we have to do a lot of cumbersome things such as reading scans, analyzing like omics data, and all of those things, which takes away from perhaps patient time and attention that you could give to so many other people who actually need it, as opposed to spending your man hours on doing these things. And I think AI comes in very handy in these cases. And I feel like a lot of people are under this impression that AI is going to replace scientists and doctors, and I don't think it's possible. Because another thing, for example, in drug discovery, of course, like AI can help you find drug targets so specifically, and like with precision medicine being all the rage right now, you just put in a patient's information in, you put in a list of different targets that you think is going to best fit that patient, and you get it out. But ultimately, it's the doctors and the physicians who are there to give the empathy, the aspect of empathy, the ethics, all of that cannot be replaced by AI. So I think AI is a very important tool in my field. It makes like our lives more efficient and streamlines a lot of things while not replacing us necessarily.
Do you see any specific area where humans and AI could collaborate in your space?
I would say just the decision making. I think a lot of times humans can be a bit more biased. Speaking of bias and AI being biased, on the other hand, because all of us have different educations, even if it's in the same field, and a lot of us can make different decisions about the same thing, but ultimately it's what's best for the patient or the outcome or the drug or whatever it is. And I think AI does a really good job at removing the biases and uses only the data that has been given to make that decision that is best for the patient or the outcome that we're looking at.
Mm-hmm. So just going back to the critical thinking then.
Yes, essentially.
Yeah. Yes. So let's go back to living in Sweden.
Yes.
It's a long time. Like you said at the start, I just finished high school.
It feels like that, but it's been a while. It's been almost 5 years now since I finished high school.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes.
What's about Sweden that you didn't expect?
Oh, I mean, coming from a very busy, city like Bangalore, I think I really craved that peace and calm, and I think the balance that the culture here they hit between work and life is something that I truly appreciate. And it's as simple as I'm having a bit of a rough day. I walk about 10 to 15 minutes and I'm near a lake or a forest. Yeah. I take a 10-minute walk and all of a sudden I feel calm. And a lot of emphasis is laid on physical health as well. You see people going on runs all the time, going on little hikes. And I was not a very outdoorsy person before. It was me and public transport at all times. Yeah. But now I'm like, okay, maybe I will walk to university today. Yeah. And maybe I'll take in some fresh air. Or maybe I'll go out in the snow and make a little snowman with my friends and things like that, even at the old age of 23. Yeah, so it's very nice. So I think the emphasis laid on work-life balance is something that I very, very much appreciate about living in Sweden.
Well, I totally get the outdoor bit of it, also because coming from Bombay, many years ago, I recall that, being dragged to the forest for a walk was not really my thing. I just thought why are we doing this? But, after a while, it gets to you.
Yeah,
yes,
it does.
So, yes, absolutely. So my final question, if there's one thing you could change about academic or the work culture here, what would that be?
Okay. I mean, here people are very polite in the way they put across a lot of the points, and we have very nice open discussions in lab groups and things like that. But I think one thing, and I was also lacking that, but one thing I would perhaps appreciate is being open to conflict. Because of course being polite is nice, but I think a lot of new ideas and new approaches and very good groundbreaking ideas can come through conflict. And I was also I used to hide from conflict. I did not like conflict at all, and I think I have a new appreciation for healthy debate now, and that is something that I see lacking more here as opposed to if I'm in a more international environment. So I think that is, but I mean, it's a very minute thing. It's something that I'm reaching for at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I think calling it a healthy debate is the right way, because I love those as well, I usually tend to tell the teams that I'm working with that I'm so enthusiastic and I'm so goal-driven that sometimes I miss seeing the small little potholes in front of me. Yep. So I usually encourage them to, tell me what's wrong, come with whether it's conflicts or the debates, what would not work in my plan. So, and yes, I agree. We love it. That it's so peaceful. It's so peaceful, and it's consensus, and it all works. But it would be nice to have those healthy debates.
Absolutely.
Let's look for them.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Anagha. I've really enjoyed, as the founder of Girls at Tech Nordics, and also a mum of 3 daughters. I confess I have a soft spot for driven girls like you, and I want to do everything that I can to help you succeed. But sitting down here and talking to you, I just know you're going to. So
that's very sweet of you. Thank you very much.
Good luck, and thank you, all of you, for joining us. If you haven't subscribed already, please do that. Go in, subscribe and like. Bye for now. Thank you, Anagha.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.